History. Sanders Court and Cafe. Harlan Sanders was born in 1890, and raised on a farm outside Henryville, Indiana near Louisville, Kentucky. When Sanders was 5 years old, his father died, forcing his mother to work at a canning plant. This left Sanders, as the eldest son, to care for his 2 younger siblings. After he reached 7 years of age, his mother taught him how to cook. After leaving the family home at the age of 13, Sanders passed through several professions with mixed success. In 1930, Sanders took over a shell-filling station on U.S. Route 25 just outside North Corbin, Kentucky, a small town on the edge of the Appalachian Mountains. It was here that he first served to travelers the recipes that he had learned as a child: fried chicken and other dishes such as steaks and country ham. After 4 years of serving from his own dining room table, Sanders purchased the larger, filling station on the other side of the road and expanded to 6 tables. By 1936, this had proven successful enough for Sanders to be given the honorary title of Kentucky Colonel by Governor Ruby Laffoon. In 1937 he expanded his restaurant to 142 seats and added a motel he purchased across the street, naming it Sanders Court and Cafe. Sanders was unhappy with the 35 minutes it took to prepare his chicken in an iron frying pan, but he refused to deep fry the chicken, which he believed lowered the quality of the product. If he pre-cooked the chicken in advance of orders, there was sometimes wastage at day's end. In 1939, the first commercial pressure cookers were released onto the market, mostly designed for steaming vegetables. Sanders bought one and modified it into a pressure fryer, which he then used to fry chicken. The new method reduced production time to be comparable with deep frying while, in the opinion of Sanders, retaining the quality of pan-fried chicken. Original recipe and franchising. In July 1940, Sanders finalized what came to be known as his original recipe of 11 herbs and spices. Although he never publicly revealed the recipe, he said the ingredients included salt and pepper and that the rest stand on everybody's shelf. After being requisitioned as a Kentucky colonel in 1950 by Governor Lawrence Weatherby, Sanders began to dress the part, growing a goatee, wearing a black frock coat, later switched to a white suit, and a string tie, and referring to himself as the Colonel. His associates went along with the title change, jokingly at first and then in earnest, according to biographer Josh Ozerski. In 1952, Sanders franchised his recipe to his friend, Pete Harmon of South Salt Lake, Utah, the operator of one of the city's largest restaurants. The Sanders Court and Cafe generally served travelers, so when the route planned in 1955 for Interstate 75 bypassed Corbin, Sanders sold his properties and traveled the U.S. to franchise his recipe to restaurant owners. Independent restaurants would pay later 5 cents on each chicken, as a franchise fee in exchange for Sanders' recipe, and the right to feature it on their menus and use his name and likeness for promotional purposes. Don Anderson, a sign painter hired by Harmon, coined the name Kentucky Fried Chicken. For Harmon, the addition of KFC was a way of differentiating his restaurant from competitors. A product from Kentucky was exotic and evoked imagery of Southern hospitality. Harmon trademarked the phrase, "It's finger-lickin' good," which eventually became the company's slogan. He also introduced the bucket meal in 1957: 14 pieces of chicken, 5 bread rolls and a pint of gravy in a cardboard bucket. Serving their signature meal in a paper bucket was to become an iconic feature of the company. By 1963, there were 600 KFC restaurants, making the company the largest fast food operation in the United States. KFC popularized chicken in the fast food industry, diversifying the market by challenging the dominance of the hamburger. Pat Grace met with Saunders at his holiday home in near Toronto and agreed to franchise the brand in Ireland. In 1970, Grace returned to Ireland after a number of years in Canada to open his first Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurants in Phibsborough Shopping Centre in Dublin. Eventually he opened another 6 restaurants located in Dublin, Limerick and Cork. After disagreements over cost-cutting with KFC management in the early 1980s, the Irish restaurants were renamed to Pat Grace's famous fried chicken, reportedly retaining the original recipe. These stores were closed in the late 1980s. Pat Grace went on to wholesale the chicken spice blend under the brand Grace's Perfect Blend. Sale and global expansion. In 1964, Sanders sold KFC to a group of investors led by John Y. Brown, Jr. and Jack C. Massey for $2 million, around $17 million in 2020. The contract included a lifetime salary for Sanders and the agreement that he would be the company's quality controller and trademark. The chain had reached 3,000 outlets in 48 countries by 1970. In July 1971, Brown sold the company to the Connecticut-based Hubline, a packaged food and drinks corporation, for $285 million, around $1.8 billion in 2020. Sanders died in 1980, his promotional work making him a prominent figure in American cultural history. By the time of his death, there were an estimated 6,000 KFC outlets in 48 countries worldwide, with $2 billion worth of sales annually. In 1982, Hubline was acquired by R.J. Reynolds, the tobacco giant. In July 1986, Reynolds announced the sale of KFC to PepsiCo for $850 million, around $2.0 billion, in 2020. The actual sale took place in early October for $840 million. PepsiCo made the chain a part of its restaurants division alongside Pizza Hut and Taco Bell. KFC entered the Chinese market in November 1987, with an outlet in Beijing. In 1991, the KFC name was officially adopted, although it had already been widely known by that initialism. Kyle Craig, president of KFC US, admitted the change was an attempt to distance the chain from the unhealthy connotations of fried. The early 1990s saw a number of successful major product launches, including spicy hot wings launched in 1990, popcorn chicken 1992, and, internationally, the Zinger, a spicy chicken fillet sandwich 1993. By 1994, KFC had 5,149 outlets in the US and 9,407 overall, with over 100,000 employees. In August 1997, PepsiCo spun off its restaurants division as a public company valued at $4.5 billion, around $7.3 billion in 2020. The new company was named Tricon Global Restaurants and, at the time, had 30,000 outlets and annual sales of $10 billion, around $16 billion in 2020, making it second in the world only to McDonald's. Tricon was renamed Yum! Brands in May 2002. By 2015, KFC was struggling, having lost business to other retailers and being surpassed by Chick-fil-A as the leading chicken retailer in the U.S. 3 years previously. The company launched a new initiative with a plan to revamp its packaging, decor and uniforms and expand its menu. Additionally, beginning in May 2015, a new series of U.S. advertisements was launched featuring Daryl Hammond as Colonel Sanders. In a planned rotation of actors, Norm Macdonald, Jim Gaffigan, George Hamilton and Rob Riggle portrayed Sanders in similar ads through the fall of 2016. In January 2018, country music icon Reba McEntire played the first female Colonel Sanders. Before leaving as CEO in 2021, Andrea Zahiomensky told Ad Age the brand assets that we're so lucky to have were the bucket, the three stripes, and the full name Kentucky Fried Chicken. All of these were being used more by the chain.